All right, if I can get a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that? All in favor of going back into open session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. We are back in open session at 6:20. All right, it takes us to action item 4A, acceptance of superintendent resignation / release agreement. I'll entertain a motion on that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and second. Any discussion?
I just have a couple of things to state, and I won't go into, a lot of detail because I know that we were coming out of closed session. But it is my feeling that our superintendent was forced into this resignation and pressured by this board and this board president to do so. I understand that he has been under a lot of stress with a lot of personal and professional things going on. So I just want to say that Brett Zuver is a good man. He was a good superintendent, and I feel like he has been unjustly treated, especially over the last year and a half. And I feel like this resignation was forced upon him.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr. President. Any other discussion?
My other comment is that as a district, I also feel like when we have to look at fiscal prudence, is it in our best interest to pay a severance, also pay an interim, and then, possibly look at other positions as well. So we have a highly effective and effective rated superintendent who has been doing wonders for this district. To me, it makes the most sense to keep him on.
With the information provided, I disagree. I feel we've all seen enough to know that it was in our best interest to move forward. I think you see the same things I see.
I'm in disagreement, but that's okay.
We're not in a back and forth, please. Any other discussion? All right. With no other discussion, I'm going to call a roll call vote. I'll call your name. Please state your vote. Sabrina.
Aye.
Richard.
Aye.
Danette.
Aye.
Ma'am, if you continue, you will be asked to leave. Richard or Danette?
I already did.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Yes.
It was a yes, okay. Rob?
Nay.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And I am an aye. Okay, so motion passes. The next item on the agenda is appointment of an interim superintendent. Anybody want to make that motion?
I make a motion that we consider this interim superintendent at this time.
Okay. You want to state that interim superintendent, please?
As read on the paperwork, the interim...
Hold on just a second. Are we having any discussion about this yet? Or what are we doing?
We need
right
a
now?
motion and a second, and
Yep.
then we can get into discussion.
Okay.
As stated in our meeting, the interim superintendent we would like to appoint would be Kevin Aiken.
Okay, so we have a motion to appoint Kevin Aiken as interim superintendent. Do I have a second? Second. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Now we can get into discussion. Any discussion on that?
Yep, I have some things. First, basically just to, state some of the things that you've mentioned, Ken, over the last number of months. We were not given ample time as a board, to digest this information, the first I'm hearing about this as a recommendation is sitting here at this table tonight, and you want to make a decision tonight. I don't feel like we've had enough time as a board to look through all of the information and then come back. So I would recommend that we don't make a decision at all tonight and we postpone this until our February meeting. I also feel like that this board has created a hostile working environment and is not fit
Rob,
to
please
select
keep your comments to the motion, please.
any board member. And I also feel like the appointment of an internal candidate would disrupt what we already have going on and limit the opportunity to bring in any outside candidates. And I also feel like if we were going to actually move forward with this, that we should have the opportunity to ask questions to Mr. Aiken about his qualifications, because I don't know how he can sit up here and just shout somebody's name out and then say, yeah, that's what we should do, when we have had so many other opportunities and things presented to this board that have been stalled or denied because of not enough time to digest or enough information. And then you have the audacity to sit here tonight and just bypass all of that and just simply nominate somebody to come up here. I don't know if the qualifications, I don't know his commitment. I don't know if that is the best fit for us. So I feel like we should have the opportunity to at least explore this more before actually voting on this.
Any other discussion?
Is that not why we title it interim?
Correct. It is.
To investigate then with someone?
Interim still gives all the powers, to the person in that position, and I think that's a big move to just decide on a whim. Or unless there was already discussions ahead of time about this, and again, not the entire board was included in those.
Any other discussion?
I believe Kevin is a great choice. He's been with the district for a long time. He understands special ed. I believe he's a visionary.
On that note,
Excuse me.
On that note,
Excuse me, I'm
somebody involved with that
Point of order.
probably shouldn't be involved right now.
Point of order. Just stay in your lane.
Okay. Guys, no direct comments to each other, please.
As I'm staying, I believe Kevin's part of the school district. He understands what's going on. He's very familiar with the other teachers. He's very familiar with the parents and special ed. And for the interim part, he is a great choice, and it makes a smooth transition.
Any other?
He is the special education director, right? Correct?
I'm sorry?
Kevin is currently the special education director, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I feel like that might be a conflict of interest. What would you say, Marshall?
Are you asking to get into the discussion in closed session?
No, I'm not. I'm
There's
asking
no
you.
I don't see where there's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Why? I don't understand your question.
I just think that with a lot of things happening right now, having somebody with that title is maybe not the best move for this district. I firmly believe that we should give this time, and there are resources out there that we can reach out to that would help with this. I think that might be the best move for our district. I feel strongly about that.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no other discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote on the appointment of...
So no opportunity to ask any questions to the person.
We have a motion on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
We have a second on that. We've had discussion. We need to move to a vote on that. Are you making it?
I would move that we have the opportunity as a board to ask Mr. Aiken questions about his qualifications and fit for this role.
So I have a motion to interview. That
Yes, I think that's only fair.
Okay, so I have a motion to interview. Do we have a second on that? Okay, hearing no second, that motion dies. That takes us back to the motion of appointing Kevin Aiken as the interim superintendent. So we've had discussion on that, so we will move to a roll call vote. Again, I'll call your name, and just tell me your vote as I go through. Rachel.
Aye. Aye.
Danette.
Aye.
Sabrina.
Aye.
Rob.
Nay.
Richard.
Aye.
I am an aye. Stephanie.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. All right, that takes
So
us-
this is how you work, huh?
Point of order.
Okay.
That takes us to, people, that takes us to action item C-A, approving the first reading of 0122 board powers. That is in your packet on page, looks like it's page 10. So this was sent out to the entire board with the packet, along with some information from Neola about each of these policies and the need to address those. So can I get a motion to adopt the first reading of 0122 board powers?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion on that policy alone? No discussion. All right, so with no discussion, we'll call a roll call vote as well. I am an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Danette?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Sorry?
Aye.
Thank you. Richard?
Aye.
And Sabrina?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. The next board policy that we need to review is 0142. So again, this is to approve the first reading of 0142. Can I get a motion on that one?
So moved.
What page is that?
That one is,
Right on, okay.
looks like 13.
Just looks like a bunch of changes on the dates.
So I am noticing that it looks like on the policy sheet, it's actually titled 1420
Yes.
instead of 0142. So but that is the policy that was sent out. So if I can get a motion on adopting the first reading of policy 1420.
So moved.
Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion on policy 1420?
Yeah, over on page 15, could we get some clarity when it says they shall be assigned a mentor coach? Just like to have more clarity on that.
Can you point out the line, please?
Paragraph 4. After July 2024. The first 3 years that an administrator is a new administrative position, they shall be assigned a mentor or coach. So the question, I'd like to have information on that, on who provides and also what costs are involved, if any.
Okay. Kim Anderson. Kim, are you here? Yeah. Kim, do you have any insight on that by chance? Could you get the mic for us, please?
I believe your principals assign mentors to your new teachers when they're hired. So it's just clarifying that.
So it's just in-house?
In-house, correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion about policy 1420? All right. I'm going to do a roll call vote on this one as well. I'm just going to do a roll call vote on every one of these. Sabrina?
Aye.
I am an aye. Richard?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Danette? All right, thank you. Motion passes. That takes us to policy 3131. So I need a motion to adopt the first reading of policy 3131.
So moved.
Support.
All right, so we have a motion and support. Any discussion on this one? Looks like quite a bit's been removed from this one.
Yeah, I would, over on page 17, and some of these that are marked out that are being deleted, I would just like to possibly as a board discuss it and have better clarity on why they've been removed. Such as, you want me to do such as, or just leave it for another time?
No, we're here, we might as well.
Dealing with staff reduction and recalls on page 17. Paragraph E, we're eliminating, not including in the evaluation as the teachers or whomever, their quality and ability to manage a classroom and consistent preparation to maximum instructional time. F, removal of the teacher's management of the classroom, manner and efficiency of disciplinary students, rapport with parents and other teachers, and ability to withstand the strain of teaching. And we're eliminating G, the teacher's attendance record. I'd just like to have clarity on why we would eliminate their ability in the classroom, their management style, disciplinary, and all, with the kids, but also their attendance record. If a teacher is only there half the year, how is that not taken into consideration? So just want to open up dialogue next time.
Well, I mean, we've got the opportunity right now, so we might as well dig into that. I know Kim has had some conversations with Neola on these policies. You may be able to give us some insight, and we have our board attorney here that might be able to give us some insight as well.
I do not have those in front of me. I didn't bring those, but I believe they've been removed around within that policy. I don't believe that it's taken completely out of the evaluation process, but these are recommended by law that they need to be passed because it becomes part of the collective bargaining agreement. All this is brought in during collective bargaining.
Okay. So just to that point, sorry, Marshall, just to that point, item D up above, that is actually replacing what looks like A1 down below.
Correct.
That's the same language, it's just moved up.
They realigned the policy.
Gotcha. Marshall, do you have any?
Yes, and I'm not a Neola policy person, but these policies are the result of legislative changes to the school code, particularly relating to evaluation of teachers, layoff and recall, as well as the elimination of what we've called prohibited subjects of bargaining under the Public Employment Relations Act. So these NOLA policies, I'm sure, are addressing these legislative changes. There were a lot of positions in the laws before they were changed that gave the school district and administration quite a bit of discretion with respect to evaluation, teacher placement, layoff, and recall. The changes have removed a lot of that discretion.
Thank you, Marshall. Does that satisfy your question on that?
I have time to think about it.
All right, well, we have to pass a second reading as well, so. All right. Any other questions or discussion on policy 3131? Okay, hearing none. Sabrina?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Stephanie?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Danette?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. That takes us to policy 3142. Can I get a motion for 3142?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion and support. Any discussion on policy 3142? Okay, hearing none. Sabrina?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Rachel?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Danette?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. All right. That takes us to policy 3220. Can I get a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion on policy 3220? No discussion? All right, same thing. Stephanie?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Richard?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Danette?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Sabrina?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. All right, that takes us through the approval of the Neola policies, and that then takes us to public comment. Is there any public comment for tonight?
Do you want me to read, since nobody is reading, the public participation at board meetings for us?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
if nobody
No,
doesn't
you-
want to, I
you
just
can.
didn't know if we
That's
needed to.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You want to read
Okay.
it?
Public participation at board meetings. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. To permit fair and orderly public expression, the board shall provide a period for public participation at public meetings of the board and publish rules to govern such participation in board meetings and in board committee meetings. The rules shall be administered and enforced by the presiding officer of the meeting. The presiding officer shall be guided by the following rules. A, public participation shall be permitted at a time as determined by the preceding officer. B, anyone with concerns related to the operation of the schools or to matters within the authority of the board may participate during the public portion of a meeting. C, participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preference their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and/or group affiliation if and when appropriate. D, each statement made by our participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration, to a 3-minute duration. E, no participant may speak more than once. F, participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. G, the presiding officer may, 1, prohibit public comments which are frivolous, repetitive, or harassing. 2, interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. 3, request any individual to leave the meeting when that person behaves in a manner that is disruptive of the orderly conduct of the meeting. 4, request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when that person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. 5, call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. 6, waive these rules with the approval of the board when necessary for the protection of privacy or the administration of the board's business. H, the portion of the meeting during which the participation of the public is invited shall be limited to 30 minutes, but the time frame will be extended if necessary so that no one's right to address the board will be denied. Tape or video recordings are permitted, subject to the following conditions. A, no obstructions are created between the board and the audience. B, no interviews are conducted in the meeting room while the board is in session. C, no commentary, adjustment of equipment, or positioning of operations is made that would distract either the board or members of the audience while the board is in session. The person operating the recorder should contact the superintendent prior to the board meeting to review the possible placement of the equipment.
Thank you, Sabrina. All right. First up.
You want me to state my name and get started?
Yes, please.
Okay. Kelly Brown, 1276 West 120th Street, Grant, Michigan. First, I'd like to say thank you to the board members that are working so hard to ensure that the policies and procedures set forth to run the school district are being adhered to. This is a hard and thankless job to right the ship that has so gone grossly off course. The vitriol that you have experienced from the community, some staff, and other board members is inexcusable. I'm sorry you're going through this when you are working so diligently to correct long-standing wrongs. I specifically want to state that I feel the current superintendent leaving this position is a great first step in moving our district in the right direction. Based on information I acquired via several FOIA requests, my experience working at the school as a special education secretary and building secretary with special education reporting funding, per pupil state funding reporting, and document review and submission, the information I reviewed was extremely concerning and pointed to many issues that could be financially catastrophic to the school district. To be clear, I reviewed the FOIA information I received and cross-referenced it with state reports that are readily available on the school website. Because of my experience in understanding the legal requirements for special education funding and per pupil funding, I could see that there were some questionable issues. You have to understand that there are many layers of safeguards when submitting this information. Every document signed is a legal document, and everyone signing these documents knows that. If you submit documents authorizing payouts from funding sources, you are stating that the work was performed as required to be paid from those funding sources. Again, there are many layers of checks and balances for these documents along the way. If it isn't correct, there's a reason. I did share this information with whom I felt it was appropriate. As I said, I feel this superintendent leaving is a good first step, as he has potentially cost this district in ways that could be far-reaching and financially catastrophic. I would, however, encourage this board to look further into the issue. As I stated before, there are many layers to this reporting. Anyone who knowingly signs a falsified legal document is ultimately also responsible. The district is at risk of potentially losing hundreds of thousands, if not in the millions of dollars of funding, if an audit revealed that fraudulent documents were intentionally submitted. I would close by saying there is a lot more to being a superintendent than glad-handing the public. You have to know all the ins and outs of school finance, union employee contracts, laws, policies, procedures, and so much more. Superintendents, and ours specifically, are paid a huge salary to be experts in their field. This superintendent was so lacking in the knowledge and skills to do the job and so unwilling and arrogant to learn them, he has put this district in a position that can and will be detrimental to the education of the children of this community for some time to come. I again thank those of you on this board who are working so diligently to correct these issues so the district can have a legal, ethical, and moral foundation on which to educate the children of our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Excuse me. Thank you, Kelly.
Soraya Woodruff, Grant, Michigan. So I didn't have this question before, but Kathy has brought it to our attention that there are some things going on in special education that shouldn't be going on. Then why is Mr. Aiken being put in as the interim superintendent? That makes no sense at all. I would like that to be asked, and that is one of my questions. To you as a board as a whole, there have been lots of rumors flying around about wrongdoing in special education, and now Kathy Brown has confirmed that information. Mr. Aiken is the director of the special education. Is there any validity, which we have now, to these claims, and if so, why is Mr. Aiken being chosen as the interim superintendent? Rob, I know you'll answer me, hopefully. Why do you feel that Mr. Zuber was forced to resign? And this is only for Rob.
I'm going to wait till discussion time.
Thank you, Rob. Why would it be a conflict of interest for the special ed director to be the interim superintendent, according to Rob as well? I can see how it is, personally. Also, who negotiated the superintendent and his severance package? Also, from my understanding, you guys need to understand Grant is a rumor mill. Y'all knew that this was happening on Monday. You told the kids that were supposed to be in here tonight that they weren't going to because you guys were doing a special board meeting. Why didn't you put that up until yesterday? That is another question that I would love to be answered as well. But we most likely won't get any answers, as we all know. So looking forward to hearing from Rob. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hi there. It's Mickey Hillbrand. I'm from 13194 Elder, Grant, Michigan. I know you can't answer questions, and I know she was asking some directly. I know this isn't the time to answer questions, but I know I've been coming to these meetings for the past several months, and I know that there was a FOIA that was filed, and it was found that Mrs. Dode submitted her resignation effective October 31st, 2023. The board voted and accepted it at the November meeting. At that meeting, Mr. Zuber spoke about Stephanie resigning and the plans to fill her position in the future. It was never mentioned by Mr. Zuber at that November meeting about her continuing to work in the district following her resignation notice, nor at any of the following board meetings that took place in December or January did he mention it during his verbal updates. He did not inform anyone of such important information. Though through FOIA, it was found that Mrs. Dode was indeed continuing to work in the district and receiving pay and being reimbursed for costs even after her resignation. How is a leader of the district supposed to be trusted when he himself isn't being transparent? You've been accused of not being transparent as a board, but our superintendent has not been transparent. How can the Board of Education do their job if the superintendent isn't transparent and fully communicative with his board? How can one staff member hold two full-time contracts at the same time? Isn't the board supposed to approve all hired positions? Is Mr. Zuber's misleading tactics part of the reasoning behind why an investigation took place? I have concerns about his approach. He's made everything look good from the outside, but underneath the surface, policies have been disregarded, proper procedures have not been followed. Anything negative or unpopular is spun to be the board's fault, and I think we should take a harder look at who the true problem really has been. Watching what has been over the last few months and tonight, I can see why you, the board majority, continues to state how important it is to follow district policy. It's been seen by past boards that it's more about keeping everyone happy, putting on a front, doing what's easy and popular, and that includes our superintendent. Previous boards have sided with the superintendent and went along with the illegal practices. This includes violating contracts, policies, and state law, and was done without giving it a second thought. Anything to make him look good. I can say, though some may not agree, we are all allowed our own opinion. You, the board, are not well liked. Why? It's because you're cleaning up messes that have been in place for a long time. You are getting in the mud and trying to clean up and being hated for doing so. You are doing something that could expose a lot of wrongdoing in our district. It's not about being popular and well-liked, it's about doing what's right for the district, staff, and students. Know that you do have a lot of support. It seems to be that the loud that gets the attention, yet those who are trying to correct the problems and turn the district around are hated. That's okay. That's why we voted you into these seats. It's true. Loud majority, silent majority.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
My name is Megan Wirtz. I live on Park Meadows Court in Grant. If anybody should be resigning today, it should be Rachel, Ken, Richard, and Sabrina, and Danette, you should too. Shame on all of you for pushing a man out and for ruining his life. Shame. Shame on you. You should look deep in your hearts and find out why are they filled with such blackness? Where did that come from? My mind, I grew up here. I've known many of you for such a very long time, and I don't understand where it went wrong, Rachel. Where did this happen? When did this happen to you? I don't understand. And Mickey says that you're hated and all this vitriol has happened. You did this. You started this, and we are reacting. You will be out in May. Richard, Rachel, you'll be out in May. Sabrina, we're going to get your signatures. It's happening. Ken, you were never elected. Nobody voted for you. You were not elected, and you will not be voted in this November. This board will be changed. Good will happen here again. Grant is a good place to grow and learn, and it will get there again. Unfortunately, we have to sit through you until May and November. Resign. It's easy to do, apparently.
And we don't have to compensate them.
You are the ones costing this district money that our children need. You are doing this. Marshall, you're a slime ball. What are you doing for our school district besides ruining it? I can't believe this is happening.
It's called New York versus Sullivan. It can be caustic, and it can be whatever she wants to say in her 3 minutes. It is a constitutional right. Yes.
You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. But it would be nice if you could do the right thing. Resign. Let us have our school back. Let us have a good place back. You did this. You have done this. And you should feel shame. Shame on you. Shame. Shame on you for being this way. Shame on you for doing this to a good man. Shame on you for doing this to a good community. Shame for letting the rumors just swirl, for starting them. Shame. Shame.
Thank you, Megan. People.
Hello, my name is Nicole Dewey.
Hold on, I don't want your time disrupted. Folks, go sit down, please.
Well, they won't kick them out.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So my name is Nicole Dewey. I live at 1717 Canada Road in Bay. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Rachel's address. I was just curious, how, Richard, were you able to open up your schedule when you are booked for 2 years solid, you told us at the last meeting? That's my question. And I'm just really ashamed of this Mean Girls thing that you guys have going on when my student knew about this meeting on Monday, yet you didn't tell certain board members until yesterday. Real cool.
Melissa Haynes, live on Lake Street here in Grant, also a lifetime member of this community. I do have a couple of questions going back to the interim superintendent being placed. As the rumors have stated, those are just rumors, but we do have Kelly, who thankfully just came up and let us know that there are some shady things happening within our special ed program. Mr. Aiken is our district special ed director. If there's a conflict of interest, I'm assuming that Mr. Zuver is leaving over our special ed program and things happening there. How is it not a conflict of interest for Mr. Aiken to take that position? If he is our director of special ed and there are problems within our special ed department posted by former employees, as well as lawsuits that are out there, settlements that the district has forced people into to avoid lawsuits, etc. And then all those rumors that we're hearing. How can you sit there and tell us that it is not a conflict of interest for Mr. Aiken to be interim superintendent? I'd like to know if you can tell me who brought Mr. Aiken's name to the table and when? Were any other candidates ever considered or discussed? Did he come to you and ask for this position, or was it offered to him directly? Was he hand-chosen again by the board, as you do for many things? Does he have the qualifications? Can anyone tell me what his actual qualifications are? I didn't have time to research this because the public wasn't given any notice or any information. There was no discussion about the interim superintendent, who would be qualified, no one interviewed, no candidates presented. Do you guys have any information in regards to any of that? Of course. And Marshall, you need to be replaced. You guys are a joke. You are wasting our money. We won't go there. You guys should resign. You will be voted out. The community will stand up and speak. They have spoken. We have a special election, and I hope the teachers in this room and in our community know that they can stand up and they can speak out without harassment, because that is illegal, and the board continuing to make decisions without all members present is going to stop. You should resign. Save everyone some money. I have not seen one good thing that this board has brought to our community in the past year. Not one single thing.
Thank you, Melissa.
Hi, my name is Nicole Spangler. I live at 700 Newaygo Road, Bailey, 49303. My question is if Kevin is taking over the superintendent, who is taking over the middle school principal? I would like to know that because I have been dealing with my kid being bullied at school, and Kevin has been dealing with it. He is the only one that I have talked to about it, and he is the only one that has been dealing with it. So who is going to take his position? Who do I need to contact? Who do I need to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen anymore? So that's my concern. We need to make sure that things are in place where everything is protected, to make sure our children are protected, because that's not happening right now.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
trying to work an ink pen here, sorry, hang on one second. My name is Tracy Hargraves. I'm a resident of Grant here. Rumor-wise, I don't know what's going on other than what we've heard on the special ed stuff. I will say this, Kevin is a great guy. I will say that. I wish that you guys would give the entire board more opportunity to be involved with the discussions. I'm trying to figure out how this board particularly works. Is it just the president, vice president, and treasurer that have all the say and the trustees don't have to be involved into it? Is that something how that works here? I'm seeing a lot of individuals not finding things out until after the fact. Apparently you guys have been investigating something going on. We have board members that obviously didn't know what was going on until yesterday or today, according to Rob saying here earlier. Why is not everyone in the board being brought into these conversations before you're bringing it to a meeting? I guess I'm trying to figure out how you guys run and how you work. Is it just you four or you three or whomever that make all your decisions and then you just shoot it out there 2 days before the meetings? Are you guys meeting prior? Are you having email chains that are not involving everyone? Are you guys all involved in all of your email chains? Are you guys talking independently? Are you not working as a group? Because it's looking like you're not working as a group to all of us. Because there's been multiple meetings, it's not just today. Several meetings in the past year and a half have been where they've been shocked. People have been confused as to what's going on because they've not been told about it, or the information's not there, and then you wanted to make votes, and they try to go through it, like, for example, Rob trying today to go through and stop things so you can discuss it and consider going through and having conversations about things before you make these votes. And then it doesn't happen, and it turns into the Ken Thorne show again, and he gets everything he wants. And I say that because this is what's happening. You're putting out these people for the CAHC. You made that choice. Yes, you added to it, but you came up there and you said, here's our advisory board people. And thankfully, Rob stopped that. Now today it's whomever you're going to put in for interim, which I don't know what's going on with special ed, but Kevin's a great guy. I think he's great with the kids. We'll see what happens there. So it's nothing against Kevin. It's the fact that you guys are making decisions, not as the complete board. So I'd really like to know how you guys work as a board, if you're putting emails left and right to just the four of you, or everybody's being left out. It's just the top three guys that are in charge, that are doing all getting all the information, and everybody else is left out to the day before. Please explain to us as a community how you guys work as a board. Because you're all supposed to work together, and a lot of people seem like they're blindsided every meeting. Every single meeting, we're seeing people go, what is going on? So please explain to us how you guys work. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody that's been put in an interim. I'm not worried about Brett being gone. I want to know why you can't work as a group. And the minute that Rob goes through and speaks up, Ken shuts him down. Have you guys not noticed that? Shuts him down, but everybody else gets to speak out. But when Rob goes against you guys, he shuts him down like that. Explain it to us, please. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, Tracy.
Nope, it would be nice, but we'll never find out. My name's Kim Lilly, sort of sick of being up here. But I'm going to keep doing it because I love my grandsons. Used to be a sign outside of town, Grant, a great place to grow your kids. Bullshit. You changed it all. Rachel, you've done it. Sabrina, you've done it. On the back of our kids, really? Really? And hey, if you're signing stuff that's Medicaid fraud, that's your fault. No, whoever this lady was that stood up.
Direct your comments to the board, please.
You know what? I've been in special education for over 20 years. I won't sign nothing that I can't prove. I have to clock all my Medicaid billing so we can get that money from the government, right? Because that's where our special ed money comes from. If it ain't true, I don't sign it. And if these people are signing things, that's their own damn fault. They can go sit in prison. That's where you belong if you're fraud, right? So, as far as getting rid of Brett, terrible decision. Best guy we've had since God knows what, maybe Bugner. Rob, thank you for always fighting for the children. Too bad they're all fucking stupid.
Hello, my name is Ava Dewey. I'm a senior at Grant High School. Mr. Zuber started the year I was in 7th grade. I did not know our superintendent before, but as soon as Mr. Zuber started, he came and he introduced himself to our whole grade. Everyone in the district knew who he was because he was there constantly. He is at all of our shows, every show that is on this stage, for the set you guys are sitting under, he is always at, and we don't see any of you at any of the events we put on here. I don't know what happens at the sports games, but he's always at the tennis games. We don't see any of you guys at any of those kind of events. He was there for us. He talked to us at lunch. He was there. Are we going to get that same kind of support from Mr. Aiken? And why is he getting... He was good to the students. The students liked him. We enjoyed having him around, and whatever he did it with us in mind. And secondly, with the board meeting, I knew about this Monday. We had to cancel one of the 16 rehearsals we have left for our show in a month because we could not use the stage on Thursday because we had to set up your tables. Why wasn't the notice posted on Monday if I knew about it on Monday? We should have known about it sooner. We've had to plan around this all week. We set your tables up on Wednesday, yet we didn't know about the meeting till yesterday. Why?
Thank you.
Hi, I am Jody Wallace. I live in Grant. I just have a couple things to say. My voice is kind of funky, so sorry. But one is I have no problem with Mr. Aiken. I have nothing but respect for him. However, just something about Mr. Zuber is last year when something arose with my student, he handled it professionally and with integrity, and in a way that meant the world to me and my student. The other thing I wonder is, who is the new principal in the middle school? Because that affects two of my children. And as a parent with a special needs child and an IEP, do I need to be worried about this program now? That's what I want to know. How badly is my son getting messed over because of what you guys are doing? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laura Shattuck. I've worked here 27 years. You know me. As the support staff union president, I have a few questions. There's too much underhand stuff going on, and it's nothing against the person personally. It's the job. I'd like to know how the register job, she was hired over a year ago in October of 22 at the 16th step of pay that I brought to the board. Well, all of a sudden, I believe December 11th, it was recommended for a leave of absence. Well, why was there a leave of absence? Because she had an at-risk pregnancy, but she hasn't been her foot in this door since last June of 23, but she's getting a paycheck. And I would like to know how that goes on. Who signed her timesheet? Who paid her? Is that going to be a past president for anybody else that can stay home? Because you cannot register kids from home. So how did this go on if nothing's ever underhanded? I would like some answers to that. Because I was mad when she started out, and it's not against her personally, the 16th step. So now you can stay home and get paid for 4.5 months? What's that for the rest of us support staff? That's what I'd like to know, if nothing's ever underhanded from the administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Any other public comment? Okay. Seeing no other public comment, we'll move into discussion items. Oh, Is there more public comment? Okay, sorry. Didn't see you.
Haley Webb. I live at 8180 Spruce Avenue in Newaygo. I'm an employee of the district, and I've been teaching for 17 years. We do schools of choice with my son, and he's a student here in Grant in first grade. Advocacy work is hard and tiring and overwhelming, but we stick with it for the sake of our children and humanity. Ken, Rachel, Richard, and Sabrina, you are in a position of authority and power. You have and continue to abuse that power, making plans and moves without being transparent and collaborative with your entire school board team is disheartening and undermines the principles of a democratic and inclusive decision-making process. The decisions you have made based on your own biases and prejudices are continuing to have an extremely negative impact on our staff and, even more importantly, our students. We are begging you to shift your conversations and decisions to ones that are 100% student-focused. This is 100% has to do with your agenda, your biases, your prejudices, your beliefs, and not at all about what is best for our district. If you would like to know what is best for our students, please, we invite you in. Come in and follow in Mr. Zuver's footsteps. Connect with our students. Call them by name. Ask them questions. Show them your curiosity, your kindness, your love, your compassion. It is time for us to do what is good and just. You were elected into this position to be for us, our students, families, teachers, support staff, and administration, not against. Our community is begging you to rise. As Dr. Goldie Muhammad so beautifully stated, we want to cultivate young people who, across the course of their lifetimes, will disrupt, disquiet, and unhinge oppression. We are asking you to do the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haley.
Hello, my name is Scott Dewey. Live off of 112th Street at 4757 here in Grant. I have a question based in the form of a comment here. Apparently there is a new substitute teacher that was in Grant today, formerly from Kent County, and she has very concerning things. One of them being the superintendent and how many kids are upset by this situation, but more important issues are the concerning homophobic comments, racisms, blatant disrespect that students show each other, and even the teachers. If any, what else are we? I just lost it. Basically, the school's still fucked up. Are you guys doing anything about this? I asked a question last couple weeks ago. What have you guys done as a board to benefit this program, to benefit this school? Rob, you answered. Thank you for that. They were all positive. No one else had anything positive to say that they were doing for this system. Is there any plans in motion to help start and address some of these concerns? The zealots, the bigots, the racists, homophobes, xenophobes? Are we sticking with our grassroots on this one? Getting a lot of daggers right now, so I think I know where most of this board stands.
Let me just make a comment. Public comment is public comment. We will give responses during discussion time, just to help you.
I still have the floor.
So just like, you know.
Wait until my time is yielded.
Thank you, Mr. Dewey. Any other public comment?
It's his time down, because I'm not going to interrupt his.
He sat down, so.
I'm Julie Rogers. I live in Grant. I'm going to stay really calm, but I live a block and a half away, and I put my kids in school of choice when they were in first grade, and it was because of the way their IEP was handled, not by anybody that was in the special ed program, the teachers, the occupational therapist, but the principal and the general ed. When you're a parent of a kid with special needs and a kid that's on the spectrum, one that's too smart for any type of IEP or 504, and one that needs that IEP, and you have a principal that says kids with autism don't always need IEPs. That's a red flag. When you have a kid that's bullied, that has special needs, or any kid, and you're told, you're making that kid seem like he's evil. He's only 7. Evil starts very early. But if you are going to blame someone for not following protocol under special ed, there should be people finding that stuff out. I've heard nothing but good on Kevin Aiken, nothing but good. But when you are a district, you're responsible for the district and you're the representative, there might be a conflict of interest there. I'm not saying because he's not a good guy, because out of anybody that I've heard as a principal, he does nothing but support the staff and the kids. It's about how you go about things. He may be the right choice, but I don't think anybody's had that conversation. And I don't think anybody here knows everything that went on because there was a closed session. So we're all making crap up because that's what happens. And I want everybody taken care of, but when it comes to special ed and you are accountable, the superintendent reports to you all, correct? So that's where how did something happen that we don't all know about, but some of us know about it, and we're kind of talking about it.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Joshua Stein, Grant, Michigan. Didn't really want to talk tonight. Like, we didn't even know there was a meeting, or some people did, or some people didn't. Concerned for the school. I don't have kids here, but I am concerned for them. Hope you guys recognize that. Hiring a superintendent seems like a pretty big decision, comes with a lot of authority. Like, is this an offer to Mr. Aiken? Like, when was this even presented? How much is the severance package that we're going to pay for losing the superintendent? What's the new pay for the guy who's the principal, the superintendent, and the special education director? Or who's filling all of those roles? For these students, and for us as a taxpayer, and for us as a community who rely on the school as the largest attraction we have. Where's the stability? I do appreciate that we're complying with union policy for our employees, a union supporter. This is ridiculous. Where's the cohesive board that works together, that makes decisions in public? Like, multiple interviews occur. People's names are published in advance. There's multiple candidates. There might be better people. Mr. Aiken is doing a great job as a principal. If you guys have, I don't even know if there's been an investigation about these FOIAs that are just being presented today. Maybe you guys clear that up. You guys have already cleared Mr. Aiken from any responsibility of whatever these FOIAs are, or is this FOIA new news to you? Like, what is going on up here? How can anybody trust you? I just hope you don't do too much more damage before May, and I hope people show up to vote in May and have their voice heard about who makes decisions for the school and how the students, school, staff, and community are engaged in those decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua.
All right, I will try to keep this brief just because I think everyone wants to get out of here. Mike Maximchuk, I am the GEA president, and I told the GEA this afternoon that I wasn't going to make a public statement regarding Mr. Zuber and the situation, but there are a couple other situations and things I want to mention as the union president. So my main concern as president is the welfare of the teachers, right? Collective bargaining for our teachers, making sure that our rights are protected, that we have decent wages, et cetera. And I'm hoping that we can work together as administration, as union, and as labor together, like at para, right? I mean, that's what this is here for, that we are able to collectively bargain and work together. Not saying we have to agree on every point, but come to some kind of a negotiation. That's the point of negotiations on some different topics. To that point, there were a couple of demand to bargains that were sent out back in January. It was January, I believe it was the 8th. It might have been later on that week, but Josh Delmatter sent those to both Mr. Zuver and to Mr. Thorne, and we have yet to receive any communication back from the administration. And there are a couple of those issues in those demands to bargain that are time sensitive. One of those has a deadline of February 1st. So, Mr. Thorne, I'm going to ask you as board president, or if you would like Mr. Aiken to do it as your bargaining representative, or if you would like Mr. Marshall, I forgot your last name was.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Great, to do it. It doesn't matter, but we need to negotiate those by February 1st. So a response would be appreciated there. Secondly, there was a question raised by Mr. Vance yesterday after I'd sent out a letter of agreement to the board about its legitimacy and whether or not it's a valid LOA. So I just want to share first off, yes, it is a valid LOA. If you guys were not aware of it, that's not my responsibility as the union president to inform you of a letter of agreement. That's a breakdown in communication on your side. However, that letter of agreement that was signed October 30th by Mr. Zuver as your negotiating representative with the EA, that is enforceable. That is legally binding. It was shared with you, and we do expect that and ask that that is honored. If you have any questions, you guys know I'm more than willing to talk to you about the parameters that are in there. It's pretty straightforward, and I think you guys understand it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Christina England. I'm a resident here in Grant. I wasn't planning on coming up here to speak tonight, but my son wanted to come, and then he said, no, I'm too emotional. So I wanted to come up on his behalf. Mr. Zuver made the students feel valued. At such an impressionable age, he felt valued by Mr. Zuver, and among so many other children. That's rare, and you guys have pushed him out. My son has said, I don't think we can get a better superintendent. I don't personally know Mr. Aiken. I know nothing against him, but the experiences that many of these students here have with Mr. Zuver, at such a young age, how many students feel that way, feel valued by an adult at that age, like their opinion matters? I mean, back in my day, growing up, kids were meant to be seen and not heard. If you made too much noise, you got the back of a hand. He encouraged them to speak up. And he wanted to hear what they had to say. And you guys have pushed him out.
Thank you.
Good evening, Melanie McKinley, 181 East Dutch Mill in Grant. At the December board meeting, it was brought up during public comment time about concerns following some FOIA information that was received. It was mentioned that Stephanie Dode held the special ed teacher position while also holding position as a full-time grant writer. Through FOIA, it was found that she was receiving funds from both her special ed teaching contract and the grant writing contract at the same time. Doesn't a newly signed full-time contract supersede all contracts that a staff member currently has? How can she receive pay for 2 full-time contracts at the same time? How can she then receive thousands of dollars in stipend pay for grants the district received on top of the pay for the 2 other full-time contracts? Wouldn't that mean that Mr. Zuver would be in direct violation of policy 3120, employment of professional staff? This also means that Mr. Zuver would have also been in violation of policy 3124, employment contracts. Am I correct? Isn't this triple dipping? How can a district sustain itself financially if the one who oversees the entire district is being financially irresponsible? Was this the reason behind the abrupt resignation of Mr. Zuver? I believe these are all valid questions the community should be asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you, Mel.
Any other public comment? Okay. That'll take us into discussion items. Any discussion items by the board?
Yes, I have some if no one else wants to go first. A few things, a couple, addressing some questions. One that was about, again, Stephanie Dode keeps coming up a lot, which is really unfortunate to drag somebody's name through the mud as often as she has, especially with somebody who was doing everything that she could for this district, including millions of dollars in grants, with foregoing her, typical 2 to 3% that a grant writer receives, which would have cost this district tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars based off of the amount that she was bringing in, but deferred those to programming, to instruction, to supplies, to better this district in totality. And yes, she resigned after being pressured. So there's one thing that's happened consistently since June, for sure, and that was anybody who has stood up to this board and called them out on their actions has become a target, and been a target so much that they've either just been so distraught or heartbroken, or frankly just tired of dealing with all of the crap all of the time that they've walked away. And that's happened numerous times since this fall and last spring. But she was one that stood up and talked about that when it was a surprise, as it has become working on this board, a constant surprise of what will happen next when the 4 members voted yes to terminate the contract of the Child and Adolescent Health Center. She stood up at that meeting and stated that that health center literally saved her life. And if it weren't for that health center, all of the grants that we were receiving for all of the programming and add-on that we were championing every month because of all the great opportunities for our students would be gone. Ironically enough, all of this pressure started coming down after that. You can jump to conclusions if you want. When she submitted that resignation letter, we were in a situation where we didn't have somebody, we needed somebody to help with after-school program. That was one of her roles, and also with grants that we've already committed. She offered her services. The superintendent said that would be great. That is not uncommon. That is not illegal. She said, do I need to write a letter? No, we'll handle it. Our finance director sent that letter that we were retaining her through the end of the year to fulfill those needs that we had. And then it was sent and it was never put in the board packet. So you can blame her, you can blame Zuver for that, but the fact is that they were following protocol and it didn't get put into the board packet like it should have been. And you know what? He apologized for that because he is a stand-up guy, and as he has said often, he understands he's the superintendent and the buck stops with him. And he is not perfect. But you know what? No one is perfect. And then you throw on top of it the constant stress and strain and pressure from a board that is over micromanaging and overreaching their authority based on the interpretation of laws, then yes, people make mistakes. People make mistakes. So that's one question. Other question is, and every district is like this, the board supervises or is the manager, boss of the superintendent manages as the boss of the staff. They have that autonomy to make good decisions. That's what you do as a board. You hire people that you instill trust in and confidence in that they know what they're doing. And then the superintendent is the one that works within the budget that the board approves to make the necessary changes and adaptions throughout the year to make this district work, okay? This board is the one that has chosen to have to be informed of every minute detail, so then they can nitpick, okay? I didn't know about Kevin until tonight. I didn't know about this meeting until I had other people from the community reach out to me asking if we had a board meeting. That has been pretty much standard operating procedure for the last 16 months or so. So yeah, I have challenged this board. I have challenged our legal counsel, and I've been stonewalled every single time. So I have to do things on my own because I am a member of this board, okay? And I have that authority. So I will research more and I'll find out, and I will hopefully have some more answers to some of these things, in February. But I am literally like most of you out here. I came into this blind. I asked around, I called, I tried to get as much detail as I can.
And yeah, I talked to our superintendent because he's also my employee. And I asked, what's going on? And he is being forcibly removed because, and I've heard it from so many people in this community and educators in communities that the members of this board have been trying to get him out for over a year. And they've just been searching for ways to do it. And then they basically, co-opted our legal counsel as their own personal attorney to do their bidding. And everybody else has been denied access. And it is not an effective way to run a district. And I'll leave it with this, a couple of things. I have concerns about the health and well-being of our students and our staff. And I'm concerned right along with our staff, especially when we have contracts that need to be signed that have been delayed again and again and again, and we can get more into that in February as well, and then language and words that make it very cryptic and very concerning about what the long-term future of our staff and our dedicated staff and our students is. Nothing against Kevin. I honestly, I sit here every month and I hear the excuse, well, we haven't seen this. This is the first we're hearing about it. We can't, in good faith and good conscience, make a decision. And yet, here we are tonight. No information shared ahead of time. I don't know. I mean, Ken sent an email saying there was an investigation sometime last week and that he had talked to the officers about it. Is that an Open Meeting Act violation? I don't know. I feel like every time I turn around, we're like one step removed from a major lawsuit on top of the ones we have because this board seems to go rogue. And once again, it's all here. It's all about the kids. What has transpired in the last year and a half that has put the kids' well-being first and foremost and personal agendas aside? I don't think anything. So I, for one, am tired of sitting up here every month speaking, and asking questions and getting nothing, and then being, just bamboozled and, with new things that are coming up and decisions that are being made without the full investment and full dialogue from the board. So thank you for everyone coming out tonight. I love Grant Public Schools. I would love to work with a good a board that really can see and work through differences, and I've tried that, and I will continue to try that because that's the commitment I made. But as far as what's going on right now and everything, I'm done. I can't do it anymore, so I'm leaving. But I will be back.
Any other? Are you resigning? Mr. Steinmeier, are you resigning from the board? I am done for tonight. I will see you in February. Okay, thank you. Any other public comment or discussion items? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to make a comment in relation to our voting tonight, 6-1, and none of us had seen the resignation letter that was signed on Wednesday. So whatever was going around was not in relation to the fact that there had been a resignation. That resignation letter did not hit until Wednesday, of which that's when we as a board were notified. So
No, stop. I will talk to that. Stop.
We'll talk that. None of us on this board knew, well, I would say, maybe Ken, none of us knew. Thank you. None of us saw the investigative report until tonight. Contrary to what others have said, the full facts were given to us tonight. In that room, we had full discussion. We had full discussion concerning the interim superintendent. We, as a complete board, had every opportunity to discuss it, to give our opinion. We did not vote on it at that point. We were given full facts and full information. When we came out here, that is where we voted. In closed session, we have full discussion. Now, whether or not someone doesn't agree with it or has a different opinion, all of those opinions, all of the facts are laid out at that time. When we came out here, our decision was fully based on the facts. It was not based on personality. It was not based on likes and dislikes. All I got to say is honor is doing the right thing in spite of opposition. Also, I'm going to say this. There's not one of us on this board that have any shame. Because we have discussed this openly, and we discussed it in private, in closed session. There is no shame in that. There is no shame in standing up for the rule of law and the rule of process and procedure. Yes, on my nameplate it says it's all about the kids. As I have stated before, if we as grown-ups, parents, and administrators, if we do not want to follow the rule of law and proper procedures and policies, then what are you sending to the students? Don't expect the students to obey the rules if we as parents and administrators do not want to uphold those rules.
Would you like us to show you all the policies you broke the last year and a half?
Ma'am, please. You've had your time. And so what I'm saying tonight, strictly this, that our decision is not based on personality, likes and dislikes. It is based strictly on the facts that we have been given. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so a couple things. I was asked about, or we were asked about, how did so many people know about this meeting on Monday, right? When the board didn't know about it until Wednesday. I guess you would have to ask whoever told you about the meeting on Monday. Here's what I can tell you. On Monday, after the Finance Committee meeting, I asked Kim to try to set up to see if this Fine Arts Center was available. Kim had to reach out to some people to find out if this room was available for a special meeting. I knew at that point we were going to hold a special meeting. Okay? On Monday. Yes, I did know that. Okay? The board was informed as soon as I knew that we had what we needed to hold the meeting. I wasn't going to call the meeting and then cancel the meeting. So find out who told whoever's telling you that they knew that there was a special meeting. Ask them where they got the information. I have no idea where that information came from, okay? But people had to know that we were going to be in this room and they had to be able to support it, okay? So once we knew that, I put out the message to the board that we were going to hold a special meeting, okay? So that's the only way that I can explain that people knew about the special meeting on Monday. As far as who would be taking over the middle school, I'm going to rely on Mr. Aiken to make that decision. That would be his his choice to make that decision. So he is in the position to be able to make that call. That is not our position. That's not our job to do that. We have got to allow him to do that work.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
When is that position going to be?
I would have to refer you to ask Mr. Aiken about that.
And where is he as our superintendent?
I'm sorry?
Where is he tonight? He's our new superintendent.
Mr. Aiken, are you in the room?
He's right over there.
He's here. I'd like to see him up there answering questions.
So that would be up to him. That would be.
We should have been able to ask him before he answered.
Okay, got it. Okay. Again, Mr. Aiken is now taking that position. Okay. He will put those pieces in place. There are going to have to be some moves, I'm sure, to fill some holes, right? We have to allow him the time to do that. I'm not going to sit here and make sure that I know every choice that he's making. I don't want to know that now. So that is my answer with that one.
Point of order.
That's what I underlined to make sure that I touched on. Anybody else have a discussion item? There is a statement that will be going out.
We'll just spoil the real information.
Point of order. So there is a statement going out to the Grant community, parents and families. The Grant Board of Education is sending this communication so that you hear from us on an important development impacting the district leadership. At the board meeting conducted a short while ago, the Grant Board of Education accepted the resignation of Superintendent Brett Zuber effective January 26, 2024. Mr. Zuber's leaving the district was a mutual decision of Mr. Zuber and the board. Mr. Zuber leaves the district in good standing. Mr. Zuber has accomplished much during his 5-year tenure, and now Mr. Zuber wishes to pursue other professional opportunities. We wish Mr. Zuber well in his future endeavors and thank him for his service to the district. At the same meeting, the Grant Board of Education also appointed Kevin Aiken as interim superintendent for the remainder of the school year. Kevin has been with the Grant Public Schools for 13 years and has been principal at the Grant Middle School for 4 years. As principal, Kevin has led the middle school to fully implement MTSS using data to drive instruction, allowing the use of that data to meet each student's individual needs. As a result of MTSS, there has been a significant increase in student achievement and a reduction in the number of students that continue to need special education focus. We are proud to have the ability to promote from within, and we look forward to the leadership vision that Kevin brings to the superintendent role. In closing, we thank you for your consistent and ongoing support of our district, and we look forward to continuing our collaboration with you as we work towards together to provide our students the best educational opportunities. Sincerely, the Grant Public Schools Board of Education. So that statement will be posted on our social media and our website shortly.
When was that statement prepared?
That statement.
Point of order.
Okay. That statement, excuse me, if you will be quiet, I will actually answer your question, okay? That statement was actually prepared in conjunction with Mr. Zuber over this last week.
Point of order.
So that is it.
Not following policy. Can you clarify that for me, please?
So with that, if there is no other discussion,
make a motion to adjourn.
You're going to be removed.
I'm fine. So you plan to put Mr. Aiken.
So if there is no other discussion,
Can you answer?
if there is no other discussion, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Answer why you guys don't
If it's on
Can Stephanie make a comment, or Sabrina make a comment? Can Kimberly make a comment?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tracy had a question on just
Go ahead.
how the board works as far as the top to the bottom. Can just like the general.
We can have that conversation after. Let's get the meeting adjourned so people can. Okay, got it. Stop. We have a motion on the table to adjourn. Do I have a second?
The fact that you can sit up there, Marshall, and support this board and the things that they're doing is absolutely ridiculous.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, motion adjourned.
Sabrina, stop being a follower of these guys.
I still can, Tracy.
It makes you look terrible.
Tracy, hold on a minute.
No, I'm not sticking around. I wanted public comment. That's why I asked if we should discuss it now, when it was still open on the mic. That would have been the right thing to do as the board answered the question.
Got it.